Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live at Secretary Innovation and Technology stage. Here we will focus more on giving you insights and knowledge into the connected futures through digital paths. This event is brought to us by the State Electronic Communications Office of Latvia, powered by the European Union funds, the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia and Mission Latvia, in cooperation with the International Telecommunication Union, and together with our strategic partners, LMT, the Nordic Council of Ministers, and the Golden Partner, Latvian State Radio and Television Center. And thank you to our first city partner, the city of Hamburg. My name is Artis Ozoliņš. I will be with you on this stage for the next 2 exciting days. And for that, I have to inform you that this session is being recorded like the rest here today. And I want to extend my welcome to all of the online viewers on the Mithau platform. Thank you for joining wherever you are around the world. By the way, on this platform, you too can book face-to-face meetings for these next 2 days and communicate with each other like on a social network, but for business reasons. And while you are out there in the Secretary Expo Zone is the newest and hottest thing in this forum, you can actually meet and see the technology of the future in our Expo Zone, so take your time and enjoy that as well. But if we are here on this stage, we do have ways to communicate with the panel on the stage, and there are actually a couple of ways to do that. First of all, we do have the Slido platform. That is the preferred way of asking questions here today. Please scan the QR code and log on to the Slido platform. Secondly, the viewers online, if you can, please join the Slido platform. If you ask a question in the comment section, I might also attend to that. And we also have a microphone for the brave souls here in this audience. I don't count on many live questions, but if you are brave enough, we might attend to you as well. When and if we ask questions, that is in the hands of our amazing moderators, but I have to warn you, I will be very impolite. Once the hour hits, we have to be very strict on time, so you make it to the next session or to the next meeting, so I will be strict on time and work on that. And another innovation this year is the AI translation device provided to us by our very own Tilde. You can scan the QR code for that as well, and in this page you will see almost a live sentence-by-sentence translation. Hopefully everything works and there aren't any jokes in there in between. Let's hope that all works so we can dive into the connected futures with our opening discussion here today, which will be on the pilots to digitally resilient ports. That is a very, very hot topic here in Latvia. We just saw a memorandum of understanding being signed between Latvia and the city of Hamburg. Of course, our local businesses are striving, for example, LMT, making sure that critical infrastructure is resilient and modern. And of course, the ports themselves are updating each and every day to keep up with the modern times. Hot topic, hot first conversation. So let's welcome on this stage a journalist of the top maritime media outlet in France, Mer et Marine. Let's welcome on the stage the moderator with your applause, Caroline Britz. Welcome. Welcome, Caroline. Please take the first seat on that side. Next up, with your applause, the innovation team lead at LMT, Latvia's mobile operator and tech innovation company, Arturs Lindenbergs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Next up, member of the board of the LVR Flotek, Latvia's leading technical service provider for Latvia's ports, Kaspars Ozoliņš. Welcome. Next up, head of operations and services at Flotte Hamburg, the Hamburg Port Authority, Antonia Kunze. Welcome, Antonia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And last but not least, the head of unit safety and security at the European Maritime Safety Agency, ladies and gentlemen, Santiago Encabo. Welcome, Santiago. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. And welcome to this first panel. So I'm Caroline, I'm a French journalist. I'm very maritime and not so much tech, so I'm learning a lot right now. But I'm surrounded by specialists who will explain us how ports now are becoming smart ports. So it's long gone the time when ships were isolated entities, disconnected from the world and only materialized upon arrival in port. Today, both vessels and ports have become connected systems, and maritime connectivity keeps advancing in speed, in capacity, and in operational possibilities. In our panel today, we will explore how innovation, connectivity, and modern tools such as drones can be used at sea and in port to make port calls smoother and operations safer and more efficient. We will also examine the regulatory framework and discuss upcoming developments and opportunities. So to do so, I have these 4 speakers, and I will straight away start with the first question, which is the state of innovation. How are ports, and we all do know ports, but becoming smart ports? So for that, I will first give the floor to Kaspars, who will explain what kind of equipments are currently used to make port operations more efficient.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. And first of all, I would like to start to compliment the organizers of this Techitory Forum regarding composing this panel, because it clearly shows the cross-border cooperation, innovation, technology development, and regulator on one stage. That's all the most important parts to talk about resilient, about safety, about smooth services and development as such. First of all, I would like to explain who we are at LVR Fleet. So we are the ones who provide comprehensive port technical services to the port, Riga port mainly, and all other ports in Latvia as well. And our services are like hydrographic survey, maintenance of heights to navigation, infrastructure management, vessel chartering, and so on. And of course, by providing those services, the safe and smooth operations are one of the main goals which we need to achieve, and which is stated also in our strategy. And also the guiding light is efficiency. And that's how, by doing things to be more efficient, to be more productive, how we choose the technologies, what we use. And not just technologies, but also equipment, which is directly related to these type of technologies. So I think that by doing these functions, we have to follow our newest developments, and we have to partner up with not just service providers here locally, but also from abroad to validate our ideas and to put them into the real life. And also with the technology developers, that's how we can develop the things to achieve those goals I mentioned earlier.
Okay, so maybe we can have, you were mentioning collaboration, and maybe it would be interesting to have the point of view of Hamburg with one of these cross-border cooperation. So how do you transform your port into a smart port?
Yeah, thank you also from my side that I can be here, and I'm very looking forward to this panel. I'm from Hamburg Fleet, and we are a daughter company of the Hamburg Port Authority. We actually have a similar business model to LVR Flotte, but we focus more just on the ships. So we basically are the shipping company of the city of Hamburg. So we own and operate all the ships that are important for the port, like the police boats, firefighting vessels, and so on. But today, I also want to focus really on the port of Hamburg and its developments. Because being a smart port and the whole topic of digitalization is really important, especially for the Port of Hamburg, as the Port of Hamburg is right in the city center of the city, and it it's not able to grow anymore in terms of scale. So we really have to be efficient in order to be competitive. So yeah, the term smart is just really, there's no alternative to be smart. And I think we already touched on that topic a lot. It's about collaboration, because not only the port itself can do something in terms of being smart, but all entities that work in the port, the terminal provider, the shipping companies, that we all have to work together to become smart, also collaborate, of course, with external companies. And we already touched on the topic of the memorandum of understanding that was signed. I think this is really the step in the right direction. And maybe one other point is that we believe that being smart kind of has to come from the inside of the port and especially now of the authority. So it's really about the mindset of innovation in the port authority in Hamburg.
So yeah, so let's go a little bit more into detail. So being smart means being connected. So Arthus, can you please explain us what is now the challenges and the opportunities of connectivity, and maybe what makes it special in port and maritime operations?
So, yes, thank you for this panel. And LMT is MNO in Latvia, but we are not just a telco company, we are a techco company. So we are working and developing different technologies, so it's not only about the connectivity. And to be honest, 3 years ago, we in company actually didn't know what it means in the maritime connectivity. For today, we already have developed the concept, what I will explain afterwards. But I would like to answer on this question in several parts. And the first thing is, if we are talking about the smart ports and smart maritime, we should understand what means smart. So in the details, what we would like to achieve and what kind of technologies we would like to use from connectivity, from the drones perspective, etc., so on. But the main challenge at the moment, I would say that it's regulation, because regulation actually can't keep up with the speed, how fast we can develop the technologies. And I would say that we should keep in mind that technology is not an issue at the moment. We have 5G, satellite connectivity, AI, etc. It's all on the table at the moment. We should just put all these puzzle pieces together to understand what we would like to do. So, but getting back, of course, from the challenge perspective, how we are changing them to opportunities, then these 3 years ago, when we signed a memorandum of understanding together with the LVR fleet to understand how we can provide the connectivity on the sea level, we have developed the concept, actually, how the 5G networks can be deployed on the ships. And actually, we use the ships as a floating base stations. But there comes like a next level challenge for us as for a technology company, because, of course, in our DNS, we know how to build the networks on the land. But when we are deploying these base stations on the ships, so it's all the time dynamic network. The ships are moving, etc. And there are two challenges. First one is how we are avoiding the interferences. So it means the base stations, how much power it should be, etc., so on. And the second one is how we can provide the best quality of service for the end user. So it means all the managing of the backhaul, etc. So I won't go in the technical details. But long story short, technology is there. We can deploy the 5G on the ships, and we can actually provide the network connectivity on the sea level already for today.
Okay, and yesterday I was lucky to be on the port of Riga with some of my fellow journalists, and I saw something very concrete. One of these applications of connectivity, smart port, and very, very concrete application. And it was about drones. I saw a lot of drones yesterday, so I wanted to ask Arthus and Kaspars, and then Antonia, about these drones, because there are lots of different kind of drones. Maybe Arthus, you can explain us what kind of drones are available, and then we will see with Kaspars how you operate them, and Antonia, how you want to operate them.
So yes, yesterday actually we had a really fantastic demonstration with the air drones, water drones, and underwater drones. So you haven't missed anything because you can see them in exhibition. So from the submerge, there is underwater drone actually who can provide many autonomous missions and so on. Then we had a demonstration with the two water drones. One is provided by LVR Fleet, so I won't steal a stage for Kaspers, but he will explain in details. And the second one was from Latvian company Spark, and these are really top innovations for the water drones. And the third, last but not least, is a drone from Bayron. So actually they have all this drone box together with the 5G opportunities, and I really warmly welcome to visit the booth and to ask more questions regarding these technologies.
And so, Kaspers, can you give a little bit of details on how you, as the LFVR fleet, are using drones now? What are you using them for? How do they work?
Yeah, and here I can agree with Arturs that out there are a lot of equipment types, a lot of technologies which could be used, also the ones who are still in development stage. And one of the challenges for us is to choose the real one, the perfect one, who could be validated for our services to create this efficiency, to create safety that we can rely on, also in terms of data they collect, and also in terms of innovation. A lot of energy is being put into those innovation processes, and one of the challenges to say no to different type of innovations which comes on your table, because first of all you need to be pragmatic into the choosing the right innovation and then introduce in your daily operations. And we did quite a serious research, and we found one type of drone, which we introduced in our fleet in year 2020-22, and now we are using that water drone for hydrographic surveys. And actually it changed our life quite dramatically. First of all, we used to know the hydrographical surveys are being commenced with the large ships, which employs a huge crew, uses a lot of fuel, let's say, for example, 50 liters per hour. To get from one point to another point, it takes a very long time period. But now with a drone, the multimodality increases. We can do, let's say, for example, if we wanted to commence hydrographical survey in Liepāja, it took 16 hours with the ship to go there to do the job and then come back. With a drone, we can do within 2 hours. We put that simply on a track, 2 persons, not large crew anymore. Nature-friendly. We can do the job in Liepāja, for example, and come back within, let's say, 6 hours. And that's hugely efficient way how to do the job. Also, if you're talking about the drone can do the surveys in the places where the ships cannot imagine that they could do that. Also, we can use these drones as an extension to the ship to reach the areas which previously we were not capable to reach. And also different water bodies we can survey with the drone, so it opened up also a new clientele for us. But again, this is the one thing to use the drone, not just because it's very fancy today or it's nice to have. In terms of business, we need to be efficient, and the connectivity, why we are cooperating also with LMT, comes on the table, because we understand that if we can move fast with the drone, we need to be fast also into the data processing. And if we are surveying and having those data, the question is how we much faster need to deliver or transfer those data to the office. So the communication from the water to the office becomes very important. How to save time, because this time is actually the most important and most valuable thing in our daily life. So we must react quickly. And now we are hardly working on the solutions, also together with Riga Technical University, into creation a special digital tool which allows us to already process the data while we are surveying the data from the water. So that means that the guys in the office already receive data which are pre-processed, and they can already work with the material which is already not at the zero stage, but let's say at the next stage, and they save a lot of time. So that means that this is efficiency. This is the way the technologies helps us, not we are helping technologies. And I think that's very important. And I do know that the same issues and challenges are in Hamburg Flotte and Hamburg Port Authority. That's why we concluded this memorandum of understanding. And I would like to underline that this is not like we used to have the memorandums of understanding, which are just theoretical and in the terms of diplomacy shows some kind of cooperation. This memorandum of understanding have a practical annex which includes practical steps which should be achieved while this cooperation is ongoing, and the very important role is for both ports and also for the technology developer, also for legislators, how to create perfect environment where we can definitely say that we are using those innovations, not working on them, but we are using them. And that's very important for the ports, which are end users of those products, and also for the companies who provide such type of services.
Very interesting and very good examples. And so, Antonia, you see me coming. Yeah. And so we talked about the fact that Hamburg is going to have a system that will be based also on what's now in Riga, if I'm not wrong. So would you explain how this MOU happened and what will happen for you? What's the agenda and what will be the concrete example of this memorandum technical application?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Though I don't know how the MOU happened.
Yeah, I mean, what will happen after the MOU?
So, I'm sure there was there is a deep connection between Hamburg and Riga. I think this is just a fact, and there is different kinds of entities are talking to each other and are collaborating. So I think the MOU was just a simple kind of result of all the talking that there has been done, and also Riga and Hamburg connects, of course, the importance of the port and of the whole industry of the port. So, I think it was clear that if they work together, then they work together on the topic of a port and on connectivity. And I think it was signed officially with HPA and Hamburg Flotte. It was signed by LMT and also LVR Flotte, the Freeport of Riga, and also the Communication Office of Latvia. We just don't want to forget about them. The MOU has 3 work areas. It covers the connectivity between terminals. It's about the predictive maintenance of the terminal infrastructure by using drones and AI. It's about the second area would be about the container by using sensors and also AI. Container shipping companies, also I think HHLA Sky is involved. They want to monitor the containers. And we have one work area with actually 2 work packages for Hamburg Fleet and LVR Flotte together with LMT. We want to improve the predictive maintenance on vessels and also spread out the 5G networks across the port. But I do wanted to, I think Kaspar's made a very good point on touching the importance of if we want to use drones in our daily operation, they have to work. So they have to be reliant, and the results have to be correct, because otherwise people just won't use them. And it's also and therefore we have the same process in Hamburg. Of course, there is a lot of time for research and development, and then if there's really a lot of people in the company say, well, okay, we can use the drone, it's acceptable, then it's actually getting into operation. And I also want to touch on the importance of the human element, because in Hamburg we don't see the drones as substitution of the human element. We see them. We want to relieve the routine activities of our workers, and we want therefore creating more space for value-added tasks for our workers and employees, and of course we want to cushion the shortage of lack of skilled workers. At least in Germany, it's a big issue today, and will even be in the future. And this is basically the purpose of using drones in the port. We actually have drones in operation as of today. We have a little robotic dog. He is called Spot, and he finds himself many times in our biggest famous bridge, the so-called Kölbrand Bridge, and he really detects cracks and wet spots, makes pictures and videos all the time, and collects all the data from the bridge. So we were also able to form a digital twin of the bridge, which is very important because the bridge is actually scheduled to be rebuilt. And now through the digital twin, we are able to foresee the lifetime of the old bridge and also see the critical factors that the new bridge must have. So this is where Spot is really helpful. And I think in the MOU it's scheduled that Spot will visit Riga, I heard. So let's see about that. We also have a water drone similar to LVR Flotte that used by the hydrography department. It's used basically for areas where a big vessel cannot enter. It's not allowed to do fully autonomous, so it has to be steered from board of a vessel, always inside of a crew member, which is unfortunate, but it's the regulations. And we're also using flying drones for inspection purposes and especially in parts that are far away or are really narrow that a human worker cannot access. And one very unique topic in the port of Hamburg is that we developed a drone port, so a drone port in our port, this really helps to bring together all the drones that are used for the or by all authorities, because also, of course, the firefighting department, they use drone, the police department use drone, military is using drones, and together with the HPA, they can all be steered from this control room on our drone port. And I think this is really a step to make it proper, to make it bigger, and also states the importance of drones in the future in the port.
Very interesting. Yes?
If I may, I can quickly answer on the question how we get to the MOU. Then historically looking back, we had a visit from Hamburg port in 2024 in April. So it was actually the first visit when we met. On May 2024, we already had a visit from Latvia to Hamburg to understand what's going on in the port of Hamburg. In July in Riga, we made the demonstration of the multi-hop. So it means what I mentioned, that we are deploying these 5G base stations and making like multi-hopping from ship to ship. And in October, we got the first place in digitalization from International Association of Ports and Harbors. So it's like maritime Oscars, what we are really proud of. So it approved actually that such kind of digitalization solutions are needed. And that's why after that we discussed with the Kaspers, we need to get on the next step, on the next level. On practical level, what it means, what kind of use cases will be there on the connectivity. That's why we suggested to sign this MOU, and already in June we got it, and we are approaching that. Hopefully that in April 2026, these use cases will be demonstrated in Hamburg as well.
That was pretty efficient then. And talking about drones, let's talk about we talk mainly about harbor drones, but we have the chance of having Santiago from the European Maritime Safety Agency based in Lisbon, which is an agency of the European Union, European Commission. You do use drones as well.
Yes, we do. Actually, well, EMSA, maybe for those who doesn't know it, EMSA is an agency of the European Union, so we are a technical agency that we are taking care of safety, security, pollution, response, and prevention in the European Union. And as such, I like to see our clients, we talk about our clients about the European Commission and the member state authorities. So in this respect, as the previous speaker mentioned, we always think about the technology not as, because technology as such is useless. No, it has to be for a purpose, it has to be built for something, for something that is useful for the citizens, to provide a service. And in this case, what we have in EMSA is a series of aerial drones spread around Europe. So we have them, well, we have in the Baltic Sea, we have them in the Atlantic, in the Mediterranean, in the Black Sea, for different purposes. No? One of them, for example, is surveillance. No? So a member state wants to have series of surveillance aspects. No? I think in the Baltic we all can think about what can be interesting for the Baltic states. But for example, the combination of aerial drones with satellite imagery gives a very interesting use case. No? Because for example, with our satellites, we have a series of satellites which are, I mean, it's a service called CleanSeaNet that you can detect pollution on water. But actually, there are possibilities that these detections are false. No? Some of them, they give a false pollution. So with the drones, it's a very efficient way to really verify if there is a pollution case actually. No? So this is one of the use cases which is very much used by our states. Last year, we had more than 1,200 days of our drones flying. In addition, we have three smaller drones with our sister agency, the European Fisheries Control Agency, which is controlling the fisheries in Europe. So we have drones on board their ships, and we are also supporting this fisheries control there as well. Finally, in the ports as well, to control the emissions from the ships, we have what we call the sniffing drones. So they can go on board they can go above the ships and actually verify that the emissions of that ships comply with the regulations. So that is also support that we are doing to this. In addition, I mean, we are also starting a service with underwater drones. So we have started a couple of years ago with ROVs, remote operating vehicles, which are not drones as such, but they have been very much used by our member states in different areas, for safety, security, environmental issues. For example, we have more than 18 missions already for accident investigations. So when a ship is sinking, you want to know what happened to that ship so that you can learn lessons for the future to avoid these accidents to happen again. So these ROVs are being used for that. And now, in the future, we expect to have drones as well. We are using that as well, for example, to make... we recently, this year, we made an operation with the port of Antwerpen to really track a cable, a submarine cable that was supposed to be under the sea bottom, but actually was not. So we made, with a magnetometer, we made a survey, and we found where the cable actually was, because they wanted to have a new anchorage. And as you know, these underwater cables, they are a source of accidents as well, in case the anchor grabs it, and then you can have, especially for small ships, there are accidents happening with that. So I think, all in all, I think there are a lot of cases where this technology, these drones can be used, and we as a public institution, we are also supporting the authorities on that.
Very interesting, thank you. So now I want to ask the four of you, actually, about future and developments. What do you expect from and the challenges also? We touched upon a little bit on challenges of regulation, but what are the future developments in connectivity? What is to be expected? What's the next step? And what are the next challenges when it comes to we say regulation, but also maybe geostrategy, Artus, do you want to start with that?
Actually, yes, I would like to mention two ways or two challenges what we have on our mind. The first one is, of course, you know that Latvia is located where we are, and we have the worst neighbor in the world. So, and they are all the time jamming and spoofing the signals, and it's a huge issue actually in this region.
Can you just explain what is jamming and spoofing? Maybe?
So actually, the jamming, it means that if you would like to provide the remote operations with the drones, and someone jams the signal, so it means actually the drone gets completely wrong GPS coordinates, it's spoofing, or jamming that actually the signal is not there, etc., so on. And so it raises up the challenges that maybe drones actually can't fly in the future, etc., so on. But what we are deep diving at the moment, we are trying to understand which technologies could be as an optional or additional to provide the coordinates like GPS as well. For example, one of them is we have a discussion with the universities regarding the electromagnetic field. Can we use it actually for the coordinates, etc.? It's one, I think, what is really important in upcoming years. And the second one is regarding the underwater drones. Of course, 5G, 6G doesn't work under the water. It's just the physics, and that's it. And we should figure out if you would like to provide some real-time data surveillance to the shore, then what kind of technologies we can use in the future for connectivity under the water. Because, of course, in the European Commission for the next years, the priority is how we can defend these cables under the water and what kind of technology should be developed for it.
But the technology does exist, do you think? Is it close to exist?
Not yet, I think, because at the moment mostly are used acoustic sensors and acoustic connectivity. But I really believe that in upcoming years maybe we'll find out some completely other ways how we can provide it.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge. So, Kaspers, do you want to shortly?
Yes, shortly I can add, of course, if we are looking to the future, so our wishes are, and we would like to expect that, for example, within hydrography, that would be that real-time survey would happen, and real-time data processing could happen. Also, we would be able remotely diagnostic our vessels and manage our fleets. These type of products we would be willing to see in our daily life. But there is that old saying, the best way to predict future is to create it. And what we are doing now, we are deeply involve ourselves into the creation process together with our partners. And yeah, what we need imagination, we need patience, and we need energy to do that, and we are ready to proceed further. One thing that Riga Freeport, also together with our partners, we are now working on creation so-called space and regulation. This is a space where we could test our newest technologies, like we did yesterday in a demonstration day, and also to work together with legislators to create legislation to be able to operate these type of innovations in the real life. So I think that combining all those things together, we can be successful, and that's my wish for the future, and that's actually our challenges.
Yeah, of course it is. Antonia, do you have?
Yeah, I think I can pick up on that. I think our first vision would be the ultimo connectivity. I called it like that, between all assets. Of course, for myself, it would be the ships, but also for the Port Authority, all the infrastructure. So basically, to give an example, maybe simply to say, so the ship tells us beforehand that it will break, or the engine needs to be renewed, and this we can do via drones and sensors, and also AI comes into account there, and this will really also takes off a lot of pressure of our human workers and of our employees, because we have somebody else, we have AI that tells us what will happen with an asset that cannot speak to us. So this would be one vision, and the other one with the total automation of assets, especially in the port. However, we see it not in the near future, at least not in the port of Hamburg, because there's just so much traffic and so much unpredictable traffic. So I see it more in the seagoing vessels that the automation will probably be seen in the near future, while in port areas it's probably a little bit far behind. Because the risk is just so high in the port area. And maybe the challenges. I mean, we picked up on the topic of regulations, I think, a lot today, but also the training of the AI is also something that we discovered as very challenging, because in order to train the AI to detect or to make an inspection report of a lock or one bridge or a building, it just takes months and months and months of human work. So there again, it can only be done by a great partners, a good collaboration between companies.
Very, very interesting. So Santiago, we're gonna finish
thank
with
you.
About the future, and also maybe we can, in the time we have left, about the regulations.
No, indeed. Just to pick up a bit on the challenges, I think the drones present a lot of opportunities. We are already using them, as we can see, in many cases in ports, but also they present some threats. So something we see as EMSA when we go to make inspections to the ports, the ISPS inspections, what we see is the concern of some ports about their critical infrastructure. For example, the gas stations, energy, I think, this kind of critical infrastructure for countries. And one of the things that pops up always in these inspections is the concern about potential attacks, massive attacks with small drones. So in this respect, we as EMSA, with the cooperation of some ports, we are developing a risk assessment methodology, building some potential attack scenarios from drones to ports. So we are already in the pilot test phase with some ports, and I hope as soon as possible we'll put it available to all the ports that are interested into that. Another interesting challenge that was mentioned by Arto, I believe, is this connectivity, because the monitoring of critical and underwater critical infrastructure will be also essential. And actually, in the meantime, until this technology is ready, we have to look for patches, we have to look for solutions. Until then, there are some surface drones that are being now built, 24 meters, so relatively big, for what is technology nowadays, that can carry on board other drones, underwater drones that can have, they can be dropped in certain places, and then, of course, nowadays the only way to transfer the information would be coming to the surface and transfer information. But this is one of the patches. We are thinking about proofs of concept, to see if they are really interesting or not. In terms of the regulations for the autonomous ships, which is what the IMO is covering now, it is something that is not easy to do, because whereas in the drone side, relatively small drones, they're already working, and they are basically in national waters. When we talk about big ships, the business model is not still there. In EMSA, we don't build ships, we don't operate ships, and actually, we have to see if it's risky to regulate something that doesn't exist yet, because we can hamper the innovation development. So in a way, what the IMO is doing, and I think it is the right approach, is to go to a function-based. So basically, it's not how to achieve a specific safety level, but what is the level of safety you have to achieve. So in a way, now you would have to do a risk assessment per ship, which is a lot of work, and it has a risk as well that different flags can accept different safety levels, so we can have an even playing field in the safety part. There can be a competition of safety, which would be detrimental for all of us. So in EMSA, what we did is to develop a risk assessment methodology to try to harmonize this potential gap that can exist. It's called AirBat. It's a software tool that is available also to authorities and to the designers of autonomous ships. So We have started familiarization sessions this year, open to companies as well. So this is, for me, the main issue, that actually the business model for the big ships is not still there. The big ship owners have not moved there yet. Maybe we will have different ship owners in the future. We don't know, because the shipping we have always been accused of being too conservative. So.
Yeah, we will see. But I guess the regulation is mainly done by IMO now.
It is. So in principle, the non-mandatory code will come into force next year, 2026, and the mandatory code is expected. Well, it's difficult to predict. Maybe 2032. In the meantime, there will be what is called experience building phase, where everybody should contribute with their experience, to shape better these regulations. But at the moment, it's very, very high level. It's at function level, which is, in my view, the way it should be now.
We will watch that.
Yeah.
So the screens say time is up.
But we do have a question from the audience.
Yeah,
if we may, I might give it to you. People want to hear more about the interferences for the drones and communications. You already mentioned our eastern neighbor being very active in this. How is it done? What can be done? And maybe you can give more insights to that. Of course, to the limits, you can talk about it.
Regarding the interferences, then there are two parts. One is what I started to discuss regarding the GPS jamming. So it's one thing, and regarding the interferences on the connectivity, it's mainly regarding the maritime connectivity when we are building up these ships, the connectivity on the ships. So regarding the GPS, what we can do, as I mentioned before, we are searching for alternative solutions, how we can provide these coordinates for the drones. So it's not a question about only the positioning, but actually with maybe some technologies with the lasers, what I mentioned, with the electromagnetic field, how we can use it actually to use as an electromagnetic field just to map the positioning and so on. This is one part. This is how far I can speak about it. Mm-hmm. But the second part regarding the interferences between the ships, in our concept, we truly see that we should join together. We are not competing with the satellites or some other platforms, etc. If we are joining together information from the ACE system, which actually can bring the information regarding where the ship is, what kind of connectivity they have, how we can create this multi-hopping, etc., it's crucial part for the multi-hop as a concept. And the second thing, what I mentioned, we are not competing with the satellites, but we are looking towards on competition together with the terrestrial and non-terrestrial. So it's one thing how to avoid these interferences as well.
Mm-hmm. 3 minutes, let's take another question. They're coming in fast, shall we? No, let's take the next question. I think it's a related question. We're talking about jamming signals in the air. A question here, have you ever seen interferences from underwater? Maybe other colleagues can mention something.
Not in my experience, maybe colleagues have been there.
Not in our experience as well. So, but one thing actually regarding cybersecurity, if I can add, that's a very important issue. And also one of our projects is to create this private 5G network. Within the whole information is safe, since we are operating in a critical infrastructure, collecting data and processing it. Definitely, that's also, there is a solution for that. And also I think that in the nearest future we will see some results on this.
Mm-hmm.
And about GPS jamming and AIS spoofing, I think it's important to mention that actually the member states and the Commission have started to work on that, and there is a group specific working on that, and we hope it will give some results.
Mm-hmm. We have one more question regarding the Port of Hamburg. What are the next technologies that you're looking at to implement maybe something futuristic?
Something futuristic. Well, I think, as Kaspar's already said, nobody knows what the future will look like. So we are also trying to shape it. Of course, we want to work more on the topic of drones and the robotic drones, and also we call it the big data, the connectivity, as I just mentioned. So this is more on the practical, operational point of view, we also want to go more into the autonomous operation of ports, not only on the water, but of course within the terminals and within the operation of all the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's all the questions that we have. Carolyn, how about you?
I'm okay. I think it was very, very interesting. Of course, I will probably go back to all of you for more questions, but just for me as a journalist. So thank you very much. It was very interesting. Hope everyone has appreciated that. Thank you so much.
We did appreciate it. With a round of applause to Carolyn and our excellent experts here on the stage.